In this video, I'm going to demonstrate how to use Bondo to do large repairs. Bondo is a filler mostly used in the automotive industry for filling damage on cars. It cures via a chemical process that leaves it very hard and durable. In this example, I will be using the Bondo to repair this corbel which was chewed on by a dog. I could use spackling or wood filler, but it would likely crumble off if someone ever bumped it. The Bondo will stick on like glue and cure harder than the wood itself. Before applying the filler, prepare the surrounding surface as if you were going to paint it. This means degreasing the surface and sanding it for adhesion. I won't bother removing the damaged wood, as it will actually help the filler hold on. To prepare the Bondo, scoop a small amount of filler onto your putty knife. Before adding the hardener, you need to knead the tube to make sure it is well mixed. Add some of the hardener. The can recommends 3 centimeters per golf ball of filler, though I wouldn't worry about being too precise. Always work with a small amount at a time, as it cures very fast. Once you start mixing, you have about 3 minutes to get all the filler applied. As you can see, I'm just folding the filler back on itself until the hardener is well mixed in. Once it's a uniform color, you can apply the Bondo as you would any other filler. It is quite goopy and sticky, often clinging to your putty knife, making it frustrating to work with compared to normal wood filler. This curved shape of the corbel makes it especially difficult, so I'm going to use my finger. A flat surface would have been much easier. Once it is applied, it takes about 30 minutes to fully cure. Because it cures by a chemical reaction, as opposed to evaporation like any other filling product, it dries the same amount of time regardless of the thickness you apply it. This is very convenient for filling very large holes, as you don't need to wait hours as you would with spackling. The filler heats up as it cures, so you can tell it is done when it gets cold again and is no longer tacky to the touch. Once cured, you can begin shaping it. For weird shapes like this, I use a utility knife to carve off large chunks. With that done, you can start sanding. When sanding, start with a very coarse sandpaper, such as 100 or even 80 grit, as it will be very hard and will take a long time to sand with a finer grit. Use the sandpaper to file it into shape. There were still large voids that needed more filler, so I added a second coat. Keep sanding with a coarse grit until it is in the shape you want it. You won't want to breathe in this dust, as I am sure it is quite toxic. Once almost done, switch to a finer sandpaper to get all the grooves, the 100 grit, left in the surface. Sand it down until it is nice and smooth for painting. Here you can see the final result. In this example, the damage was low to the floor and out of sight, but if you had some damage in a more obvious place and wanted it to look even more perfect, you could apply a skim coat of spackling on top to fill the little cavities and air bubbles. The durable Bondo will provide the structure, so it is okay to add a thin layer of spackling on top. You can see here just how hard the Bondo gets when fully cured. It feels like a soft metal. You can scratch it, but not easily break pieces off. For this reason, you should clean your putty knife immediately before it cures. To remove this cured on filler, you will need to let it soak in acetone.